And oh yeah, the clicker. We're gonna need that. No, I have terrible aim. Like, I can't catch anything. I would say that I catch like a girl, but then that would be oppressive, and you guys would call me in on it, or at least I hope you would. So, anyway, like before we like introduce the next speaker, like Dan's sitting over there now. Like I just want to, I want all of us to acknowledge everybody that's been helping out this weekend, and you've been doing a phenomenal job of making sure that all the lectures are queued up, making sure that people are hitting their marks, passing microphones when they need to be passed to people, and doing all the like AV stuff. So thank you for that. Everybody give a round of applause to Dan. Next up, we're going to have, where is Gerardo? And there you are. And Rocio, are both of you together? There you are. I like, of course, like, you know, I'm just doing random introductions, but like these two individuals, I know the least about them. So like, I'm just going to be sitting down and learning right alongside you all. But like, you know, they traveled an awful long way to be here, and we're getting a little behind schedule. So we're just going to invite you guys up to get started immediately. Thank you, Gerardo, Rocio.
Greetings, everybody. I'm Gerardo Tristan, and I'm a Mexican Aztec or Native American activist, anti-speciesist. I've been living here in the States for 12 years, and I recently just got my green card, so I'm really excited and happy. So I want to thank Marnie Jones and the Whidbey Institute and all the volunteers that have been amazing and wonderful. And we wouldn't be here if it was not for their support. Marnie was very, very accommodating and very, very supportive since I started conversations with her to look see if I can come, and then Rocio joined. So I'm very happy that Rocio is here. I'm from Monterrey, from the north of Mexico, a city that is 3 hours down Laredo, Texas, and it's a huge industrial city. 6 million people live there. And I've been living in the States for 12 years, and it's been very hard for me as an activist and an anti-speciesist, not being able to participate fully here in the United States movement because of legal problems with the, not a status, being illegal, or not being able to work, and not being able to protest or, do any kind of activism. So last year I got my green card, so I'm really, really excited now to work in the United States to support Mexican activists, anti-speciesists, and intersectional activists in Mexico. So thank you for being here, everybody, and I pass it to Rocio.
I have my microphone.
I don't think it can.
Is it on? No. Okay. Okay, this one's better. Yes, my name is Rocio Cavazos, and as Gerardo, actually I'm come from the same hometown as Gerardo, Monterrey, Mexico. I've been living in the US for quite a while already. I've been in New York for 18 years altogether already, but all my family is in Mexico and have very strong ties with the country. I'm there all the time. And Gerardo and I met when we were both working with an environmentalist group in our city, which, as he said, is a very industrial city. And so we were both engaged in helping this local group, trying to protect a natural area in the city. And from there on, we've continued to be very much in touch, and now we are working together in this initiative that we're going to tell you a little bit more about, in which we're trying to support local activists in Mexico, particularly in animal rights and anti-speciesism. And we definitely want to thank very especially A Well-Fed World and Dawn Moncrief for her early support. Is she here? Oh, okay, but she was, and she's been wonderful, from the very beginning. So we just wanted to make sure we got to thank her. So we actually have a short video that we'd like to share with you, to tell you. Unfortunately, the video is still in Spanish, but we're going to, after we show you the video itself, we'll translate what the words are.
Just to have a little bit more context, this video is from the first event that we have as a group, Faunación. We put together a forum in Mexico City in December. We were constituted in August, and we worked very hard to have this space, this forum, last December 20. So this is the video that we put together with volunteers. And so we don't have the captions yet, but we're gonna read after we show the video, okay?
Existen actualmente señales de esperanza por acciones concretas realizadas para romper con círculos viciosos que atentan contra la justicia y la paz. Particularmente vemos con alegría cómo la lucha contra el especismo ha crecido de manera exponencial en sus diferentes vertientes, con una visión estratégica, con el respaldo teórico práctico relevante, y que como resultado sus objetivos se logren de manera contundente y oportuna. Faunación es el primer grupo creado con la finalidad de formar e impulsar activistas en México, brindándoles herramientas y capacitación relevante, y desde un marco teórico y de praxis antiespecista e interconectada, especialmente aquellos sectores que han sido marginados y olvidados.
Nuestros objetivos incluyen promover la investigación y el desarrollo de herramientas útiles para el activismo en México, así como la traducción y la difusión en español de conocimientos disponibles en otros idiomas para fortalecer la argumentación en el movimiento de habla hispana alrededor del mundo a favor de la paz y la justicia para todas las especies.
Piensa, ama, actúa. Nuestro lema comunica nuestra intención de fortalecer y llevar a la práctica valores como la compasión, la empatía, la justicia y el respeto, valores con los que estamos comprometidos. Es en la ausencia de estos valores que sistemas de opresión como el clasismo, el racismo, el sexismo y el especismo nacen, crecen y se consolidan a lo largo de la historia.
En Faunación soñamos con un movimiento verdaderamente interseccional, plural e inclusivo, definido por la diversidad de su liderazgo y el sentido de solidaridad internacional. Te invitamos a que trabajemos juntos para manifestar nuestra visión de un mundo más consciente, más compasivo y más justo, comenzando por nuestra casa, por nuestro país. A nombre de Faunación, muchísimas gracias por tu apoyo y tu contribución económica. Construyamos juntos un mundo mejor para todos los animales humanos y no humanos.
So they say that an image is worth 1,000 words. So this was like really short time period forum that we call, but there was a lot of interest among the activists in Mexico, and Mexico City especially. And I don't know if you know, but up to 83% of the population of Mexico, the country, is young people. It's huge, you know. So we have, for example, 55% of the population is less than 30 years old, and 28% is less than 15 years old in Mexico. So it's a country of youth, of young people. And as you saw in these images, almost everybody is like very young people, you know. So we have a lot of, among the marginalized groups in Mexico City, like the queer community, anti-racist, indigenous people, people working with social justice that are low-class income people, and a lot of the students. They are like the main actors of the movement in Mexico. And so we're gonna read what the text, so you can catch some of that in English. There are signs of hope and concrete actions that can be taken to break the vicious cycles of oppression that undermine peace and justice. We are thrilled that the fight against speciesism has been growing exponentially on many fronts in Mexico. This growth brings great responsibility, and it's an historical challenge, one that we'll rise up to. Our challenge is to ensure that the movement in Mexico continues to develop effectively and thrive. We must have a compelling strategic vision, a practical theoretical foundation for the movement in Mexico to achieve the goals. Faunación is the first ever group dedicated to empower activists in Mexico by providing them with tools and training base that are like in a framework or intersectionality and anti-speciesist. And so we have a lot of challenges because we do not have in the dictionary in Spanish the word intersectionality for starters. So when we talk about that in Spanish, we talk about interconexión that is in the dictionary, and then we try to like explain and make a definition about intersectionality. When we were talking about that in the forum, there was a very, very, very lively discussion because everybody understands intersectionality in the praxis, because we all have to every day of our lives survive, and to like we are quick, oppressed people worldwide, we are quick to identify allies and people that we can be safe with, you know, and we can survive and we can move. So we will talk a lot about this and what it means for us as Mexicans, this word and this analysis and these tools for dismantle speciesism, for challenging speciesism, and at the same time challenge other oppressions. So
I'll read you the second part of the text. So it's think, love, act. Our motto communicates our intention to foster and bring into practice values such as compassion, empathy, justice, and respect. We are committed to these values. It is in the absence of these values that oppressive systems such as classism, racism, sexism, and speciesism are fostered and perpetuated. At Faunación, we envision a movement that is genuinely intersectional and inclusive, as demonstrated through the diversity within its leadership and a sense of international solidarity. We invite you to work together with us to fulfill our vision of a more conscious, compassionate, and just world, beginning in our homes, in our country. On behalf of Faunación, thank you so much for your support and financial contribution. Together, we will create a better world for all human and non-human animals.
So that's what the video said in Spanish, and we're gonna use it to obviously share more about who we are in Mexico and like extend our hand to people that is working on interconnected issues like women's rights, indigenous rights. I'm indigenous myself, and I am an activist by definition all my life since I was born. You know, my parent was a prominent union leader in Mexico, and he was blacklisted because he, you know, organized labor union in Mexico. And so my mom was very, very active with the theology of liberation because she's Catholic, and she was very like action-oriented, and she instilled in us like, you know, this sense of acting and being just, and she was always like, she was the one that brought me like this sensibility for justice for non-human animals. But we're gonna talk about why Faunación in Mexico, why we think that it's very important to support these kind of initiatives like Faunación. You know, Mexico, we want to have our own voice, we want to have our own leadership in an international movement, anti-speciesist, animal rights, etc., veganism, liberationism, whatever is defined. And I think we are ready for that. You know, I think we have a lot of very valuable and great people writing, thinking, doing theory that contribute to the movement, and a lot of people having a very great job that can really change, affect systemic change in Mexico. So we will talk in our 75-minute presentation in depth about who we are and why we think that it's very important that you like learn more about Faunación, talk to us, and support the movement. You know, we are intrinsically joined to the United States because United States has a lot of history of Mexican people too. You know, we have a lot of Mexican people. These countries growing, you know, the Latino community. So Spanish is becoming, and the Spanish culture is becoming more relevant. And we will need to like, you know, start to look to the South in a different way. You know, not just because have night beaches and tequilas and margaritas, but, you know, because we can contribute to the movement in Mexico and abroad, and we wanted to be like, given that chance and support. And so, I don't know, do we have anything? Yeah.
Yes, we do. We just wanted to share with you very briefly. I think, Gerardo already spoke about, we want to talk about the initiatives that we've been working on. This is a very, very young group. It really just came together last August. And we decided, and this was really because the local activists pushed us. We were thinking about having our first event in 2016. They said, no, let's do one in 2015. So we put together our first forum or workshop in December 2015, which was a little bit of a by invitation only kind of event, because we wanted to make sure that we invited people that had demonstrated their commitment to activism and to animal rights and anti-speciesism. So, the response was so encouraging. Altogether we had close to, 30 people that were, basically hand-picked. Most of them are in the picture. Some of them had already left here. But it was, a one-day event where we had, in the morning, we had a panel with presentations from local activists and researchers that presented on theory and history of the movement. And in the afternoon, we had a workshop on how to write for the media, how to gain the attention of the media. And I think people really, really enjoyed it. And you saw some of the images in the video. So that was our very first event that we put together with basically no resources. We were all there just from our pockets. And we've been also supporting what we believe are very valuable initiatives in Mexico. One of them is a law initiative that was just presented in the state congress in the state of Michoacan. This is to prohibit the entrance to bullfights to children below 13 years of age. We wish we could have already forbidden bullfights altogether, but we have to start where we have to start. Right? And this is what's possible. It was presented in February 11th. There's a 90-day period that Congress has to analyze and then bring this to a vote. What was very encouraging is that we hear that when the initiative was presented, over half of the representatives in the state Congress asked to be adhered, to add their names to the initiative, which was that had never happened in this state Congress. So there's obviously resistance to it, but we're hopeful that it'll be successful. And what we've seen is that when these types of initiatives start at either the municipality or state level, then there's momentum that is gained, and eventually these types of laws can be passed at a federal level, like in the case of the circuses, right? Is that right? That are, in Mexico, it is now illegal to use animals in circuses. Yes. There's we also supported and helped promote an illustration contest where they were supporting the fight against bullfighting, and there were artists from 52 countries that contributed their illustrations. So it was also very encouraging to see the widespread support to this cause. And then there's another contest. This is for children. This is a drawing contest around the subject of peace and animals. And so, we're very happy to promote these types of initiatives that help spread, a more compassionate set of values, especially to young people and children. And finally, we're planning our second event coming up. We've pretty much decided on the venue. It's going to be in Guadalajara, Mexico. It's the second largest city in Mexico with a very vibrant activist community. And we're very excited about the support that we're getting there from the local activist community. We've set a date for November 2016, and the main focus of this forum, maybe you want to tell them more about it, Gerardo. We're very excited about recent political developments in Mexico that after many years of struggle, just a couple of years ago, we were granted as Mexican citizens the right to run as independent candidates, run for office. And we think that this really opens up a range of possibilities that weren't there just a couple of years ago for us. And maybe you want to tell them more about what we're trying to do with this event.
Gracias. So yeah, we're gonna have this like second Interspecies forum to have a continuation in Guadalajara this coming November. We are very excited because this is opening up a conversation that we need in Mexico to have about answering the question, is it possible running on an anti-species agenda to access political power in Mexico, and how we're going to do it. So we have a history in the country of getting a lot of things done through the political system in Mexico. Like she mentioned, the federal law that prohibits circuses. So we think that we have, because this landscape, we're going to talk a lot about in our presentation about like what is happening now in Mexico in terms of like the politics of Mexico, and what possibilities that open up for our activism as anti-speciesist and intersectional activists. So we are very excited. We are going to work with a local group in Guadalajara to put up this conference, and this is a community group. This is like a forum for a very, very, very popular, huge neighborhood in downtown Guadalajara that has done a lot of like incredible job on food accessibility, food justice, transportation issues, all kinds of issues, and the whole community is very active and vibrant there. They have a center, community center that they did themselves, and they do a lot of kind of trainings and classes in that big center. But there is not a government center. It's like the community put up that center, and we're gonna peer with that community, and we're gonna probably look into like develop things with that community base in Mexico with Fauna because our work is for Mexican, and to give relevant tools to people that is already on different fights, because we are not considering that people that is fighting for wild rights are not fighting for animal rights. People that is fighting for women's rights are already like challenging speciesism, et cetera, et cetera. So we, like Rocio mentioned, we call these people that use already this kind of lenses, a framework, to do their work, that they like have this interest in being intersectional and identify how all these different oppressions work, and how they can be dismantled, challenged, disrupted, and then dismantled. And so this is going to be very interesting, because this is going to tell us if there is already the ground fertile in Mexico, and who would like to step forward and have the question of like considering running for office. Because we have the history, very short history in Mexico, where a person with an animal welfare agenda won the governorship of the third largest city in Mexico, which is the economical power in Mexico, Monterrey, the city where we come from. And that person just won. And then there was another independent candidate that just won the second largest city, Guadalajara, where the event is going to be. And this person running a 100% environmental agenda as an independent candidate. So we have two anti-species members of Fauna Acción that already ran for a congressman and congresswoman in their states on a 100% anti-species agenda too. So we have, all this history and possibilities. So I don't know if there are questions, but we're gonna talk about all this in depth. We wanted to have a discussion with you and also get feedback, and ultimately show you this so you can be involved. Is very important, I think, to support comrades or our colleagues south of the border too. So is there any questions? Okay, so we'll see you in a bit in our talk. I hope so. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.